Got you niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me. And Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. What's up, little business of sun-dried tomatoes? It's your boy Eddie Collins.
Guys, it's Justin Brown.
That's right. And also, I'm also known as Brandon Collins, just, for the name on the video. But we are Medium Popcorn, and we're going to be talking not about a full movie, so to speak. We're going to be talking about some movie news and some trailer reactions because y'all seem to enjoy these little mini episodes. And again, keep letting us know what y'all think of these episodes by leaving us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/mediumpopcorn. Or, just let us know on the interwebs. You know what I mean? We're trying new platforms. Justin's over here playing around with different backgrounds.
Backgrounds, baby.
You look like a Mario brother. Oh, now you look like a Long Island dad.
I am a Long Island dad.
Exactly. It's a fitting background for you now. But let's jump right into some movie news. So in the past, we've mentioned Paramount was up for sale and they were going back and forth with David Ellison, Skydance. Potentially there was some other bidders. I think at one point another studio was thinking about purchasing them. Was it Sony? I think maybe that was, in preliminary talks that fell through. Yeah, and so David Ellison Skydance actually came back with an $8 billion investment. So they must know something that the rest of the Hollywood industry doesn't know, because these studios, particularly Paramount, are not doing well. So they must see something valuable in the assets. I mean, they still have Viacom, which has all the Nickelodeon and CBS and stuff like that, which has the NFL. So there's some good assets there. It's just that I don't know how much longer Paramount Plus might be with us after this acquisition goes through next year.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I think one of the biggest things that these studios did, biggest mistakes rather, was to make all of these streaming apps, because it's how do you really profit? You know what I'm saying? It's because, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at first because Netflix did it, but Netflix is all a streaming app. They don't have anything else. So,
and also Netflix is a tech company that just happens to work in entertainment. True. That's the thing is when it comes to the developers, the other studios can't compete with the kind of tech experience that Netflix has. It's Netflix was so far away from any potential competitor, and they didn't realize that because a lot of stuff is on the back end. A lot of stuff is things that they're building that you don't even see, like the algorithms and things like that. So, yeah, it's just a losing game. But maybe Paramount can keep it up to flow. I mean, it's a legendary studio. It would have been a shame to see the studio get sold off and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's there's definitely some consolidation happening in this industry at some point. I just not sure where that looks like and how that might impact me as a writer and creator trying to break into this industry. So we'll see. We shall see. But this summer hasn't been too bad, and this I feel like the year is picking up in regards to blockbusters and audiences really turning out, given response of Inside Out 2, Despicable Me 4, other movies are really starting to blow up. And one movie I think that's going to be a guaranteed hit. And I was already kind of I'm probably going to see this just because of the cast alone. And then they released the trailer, which we're going to talk about later. But Gladiator 2, Ridley Scott's sequel to his famous, film starring Russell Crowe, has recently released a bunch of photos accompanied with the trailer that star Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, and of course the great Denzel, looking like Denzel in Roman garb. It's a sight to hold. And like I said, we'll talk about the trailer in a little bit. But man, my man Denzel, he's entering his old man sexy phase, I think, with this movie. So I'm okay, as long as this brings up, reminds people that Denzel's the greatest, I'm cool with it.
The crazy thing about this film is I don't know what it is with the vibe, because he comes off in all the trailers for Gladiator 2. It's just this guy's up to something, and when you find out what it is, you're really not gonna like it. But it's almost like there's almost like this intoxicating um uh kind of vibe to him. I don't know. It's weird about his character in this film.
Yeah,
It's like I'm very interested to see what they're doing here.
we'll talk about it. I have a theory that he's either like the Stefan like from Django Unchained to like the Joseph Quinn and like the other dude like who like run the Empire, it seems from the trailer, or he's like a bastard child of someone like high up. And
Yes, hold on. Django Unchained, Samuel Jackson played Steven.
I thought it was Stefan for some reason. Because it is spelled in the script, it's Stephen.
That's Steven.
See, I always think Steven is Steven. That's Steven.
They're both Steven. That's
You
Steven.
don't pronounce the F, the P, and the V the same.
It's Steven.
All right, whatever. There is a Devil Wears Prada sequel coming out, which is in early development with a expected reappearance of Meryl Streep, and also the original film's director David Frankel in talks to return, which is really interesting. I've heard rumors that the plot will be about Meryl Streep's character losing steam, and she goes against Emily Blunt's character, because that was like Emily Blunt's breakout. For her as well, and obviously Anne Hathaway, like she already had Princess Diaries, but that kind of like broke her out in like more mature audience. I told Tati, like, as much as I hate like sequels to like great, especially like for Meryl Streep, like Miranda Presley was a great role for her.
Yeah.
If Meryl was to be like, I'm done, right? Like I'm retiring. Why not go back to like one of your most fun roles?
I gotta say, Brandon, I think I've talked about it in this podcast before, but I love this movie, right?
Devil Wears Prada. I did not know you loved this movie.
No, I love The Devil Wears Prada.
We got to add to the list. We haven't done it before.
Like every time The Devil Wears Prada comes on, I have to watch it.
Like I did not know this.
Yeah, no, I like this is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's not that guilty because it's a phenomenal film, but like I think that this is actually Devil Wears Prada is actually one of my favorite movies. And I feel like people are like, really, like as a guy loving Devil Wears Prada, people get on me about it, but like I'm holding in my excitement because I'm very excited for this film. For a sequel, just because, like, again, Meryl Streep, I think she was phenomenal in this role. Anne Hathaway was great. I'm not sure if she's gonna return.
She might have a quick cameo or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen some rumors that she actually may, but like some of the plot leaks I saw is like, Emily Blunt is with another company that's basically kind of running her newspaper out of business, and then somehow, like I guess Anne Hathaway is helping her get her shit back. Meryl Streep, kind of become new and coming, getting her business, her magazine together. So it's more update. That's something that I heard. Listen,
okay, I think I understand what you were trying to say.
I know
you were kind of dripping over yourself. I'm like,
yeah, but I'm excited for this film. I love these characters. I love everything about it.
I mean, they had to bring Stanley Tucci back too. Like he was fantastic.
I would hope
he might actually be helping Emily Blunt. That would be great because of the way he got screwed over by Miranda.
No, he didn't get screwed over.
Yes, he did. Remember, he got passed over. He was supposed to take over, and then she went with someone else.
No, he went. He went to another company
after she passed him over, bro. You gotta rewatch that movie, man. We watched it like a month ago, like incidentally.
All right. See, I just watched it like 2 weeks ago.
You clearly weren't paying attention, bro. It's like a pivotal scene. That's like a great demonstration of Stanley Tucci's acting, because he's like quietly absorbing. He's like, she'll make it right. She'll make it right. And it's like, no, she won't.
But she did, because she's the one who put him up for that other role with the other company.
Oh yeah, it was like a switcheroo thing. Anyways, really excited for Devil Wears Prada too.
Remember when Anne Hathaway was just like, hey, it's just like, does she know yet? She's like, yeah, she put me up for the role.
Yeah,
that's why she didn't give him that, because she was like, I got other plans for you.
Got
Just
it.
saying.
Okay.
Don't come at me.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada. We'll watch the movie again together and like we'll break it down. But anyways, folks, be excited for our future Devil Wears Prada review, which I bet you didn't think was going to happen on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, baby. Um, one thing I definitely didn't think was going to ever happen on this podcast is us probably reviewing Shrek 5, which is now set for summer 2026 with the original cast, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz returning. In this promotion for Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, Eddie Murphy had already hinted that he'd been doing some recording for Shrek, but he recently confirmed that they're all back for a fifth movie, and he's actually going to be getting a Donkey spinoff as
Yeah.
well. Um, the only issue for me with this is that the director, Walt Doran from the Trolls franchise, who worked on the second and third Shrek films as a writer and artist, will be directing. I haven't seen any of the Trolls films, but they just look so corny. And I'm like, because that's what I always liked about, especially the first two Shrek movies, they had some bite in them.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of hope that they go back to that a little bit, but who knows? It might be so kid friendly now and just be like all about the cheap laughs. I don't know, like because we're also older, but you have kids now, so it's like
Yeah.
it should in theory appeal to like adult, fans of Shrek who were kids who are now adults and have their own kids. Like I just hope they find the right balance there.
You know what? I've seen bits and pieces of Trolls. Wasn't bad.
Okay.
What? I mean, I can't tell you that I remember because I think when I watched it, the kids were at a party and they had it, playing whatever, and I watched a bit of it. It didn't see. It's. I feel like you got to get into the story, but it seemed pretty cool. So
Okay.
I give it a shot. I give it a shot.
Okay. Cool. Speaking of animation, Minions 3 will officially march into theaters in June 2027, if we're still around, folks. This comes after the heels of a huge opening for Despicable Me 4, because these Minions, all they do is fucking write money for Illumination and Universal at this point. It's insane.
I hate the Minions. This is
Really?
something that I want to go hate. Yeah, I saw the Minions movie and I was so upset. I was in the theater and yeah, I was so I hate the Minions.
Did you see Minions, The Rise of Gru, though? That one was a bit better. That one was
No, no,
better.
no. Yeah, no, I didn't see that one. I think it was the first Minions
Yeah.
movie that I saw, and I literally just wanted to rip the screen down. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people do
Speak
like them.
Spanish. No, like they're fine when they're within the Despicable Me thing, but like on their own, I'm just like, why? What's going on?
Mm. I don't know, but a lot of people like them. I mean, June 30th, 2027, they're just ready to print some more money because it, it's just one person, too, I think, doing the voices. So I think it's just, they make so much money off this shit. And they're just silly little things that sell toys.
Yeah, I hear you.
Good for Illumination. Good for whoever created the design of the Minions because they are definitely drinking a lot of martinis.
Mm-hmm. You didn't melt them motherfuckers down. That's what I say.
Justin's like, you'll be the villain of Minions 3.
Yes,
And just a black man who's just his name is just Hater, the Black Hater.
soulless.
All right, so kind of going into one of our favorite characters, Spider-Man. Spider-Man Noir, which is a Prime Video MGM Plus series that's going to be headlined by the great Nicolas Cage, has started to fill out its cast, including Oscar nominee Brendan Gleeson, who will be playing Norman Osborn
Yep.
in this alternate universe of Spider-Man. I'm greatly excited about that. I think that's going to be fucking nuts. And additionally, Lamore Morris from New Girl and Game Night will be playing Robbie Robertson, and Sandman is also expected to appear in the series. So they're kind of doing some interesting stuff here. Fuck it, it's Spider-Man Noir. He's a weird private detective in 1930s New York, and it's going to be played
Mm-hmm.
by Nicolas Cage. So it's going to be kind of crazy. It's
Oh, it's gonna be nuts.
yeah. So
I wonder when they cast Nicolas Cage as that role, they're just like, we got to get a solo movie. Like, when did they know that this guy was just like, all right, this is probably gonna take off because of Nicolas Cage to the
I
point where
mean,
people.
probably Probably when they start seeing footage with like synced up with his voice and stuff like that. But remember, this is gonna be a series, so it's gonna be multiple episodes and stuff. This could be
Yeah.
Amazon's version of like Daredevil. This could be actually pretty successful for them.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out. But speaking of Marvel properties, well, this one's like kind of Marvel adjacent. X-Men 97 has a new showrunner for season 3. Matthew Chauncey has been set for the new showrunner. He's also worked on What If, and he'll be working alongside X-Men 97 director Jake Corstilla, who has been on the animated show since it was rebooted.
Yeah.
Season 2 of The Revival, whose scripts have already reportedly been revised, is in production now, and season 3 is in development, which is why Matthew Chauncey's been brought on. Now, when I read that the scripts have been revised, I'm a little concerned about that, just because if Bo DeMayo, the previous showrunner, had already locked in those scripts, I would be worried about them going away too much from his vision, given how well received season 1 was. Yeah. So we'll see how season 2 is. If season 2 takes a huge drop in quality, then you know
why.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like most people, I was hoping that they would bring Bo DeMayo back, but I mean, I really am still wondering what exactly happened.
I didn't tell you.
No.
Oh, I can't tell you on mic, but I know what happened. Well, I know what the word is through the animation world in LA of what happened there. I'll tell you on mic. Okay. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, dude. I can kind of see why they both would be like, we can't work together going forward.
Fair enough.
Which is wild because Bo DeMayo was actually brought in to even do a draft of Blade. So Marvel clearly liked his writing. Or their writing. I don't know if they go by he, him.
AKA, he messed up the bag.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when Marvel tends to like you, they'll keep you around for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Until you want to tap out, especially if you're a white guy. Which was wild because they wanted to keep Joss Whedon around for a long time, and he just burned out after Avengers Age of Ultron. Because if he had stuck around and that whole Me Too Buffy the Vampire Slayer stuff came out, at that point, they would have been real trouble. Jonathan Majors would have been a cakewalk compared to the shitstorm they were going to face with Joss Whedon still there.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of shit show, did you get a chance to check out Horizon: An American Saga Part 1 of Kevin Costner's Western Frontier movie? You didn't get a chance to see that?
Nope, didn't see it. Did you?
No, I did not. And a lot of people did not either. And that's why the second part, which is supposed to be released next month, 2 months after the first part was released theatrically, has been delayed. Kevin Costner. I just read a GQ interview he did where he was just trying to get money to make Part 3 and Part 4 of this series. Hey, bro, that ain't happening, man. You can
just chalk that up as a loss, homie.
I mean, he put a lot of his money in, like a ton, tens of millions, and he left Yellowstone for this.
And they're saying that this is costing up to like $100 million.
Oh yeah,
and this what, bro?
Wait, he also did Waterworld and The Postman. He's out of his goddamn mind. But
The Postman was wild.
There are currently no plans to send the sequel directly to Max, but there could be a theatrical day and date release plan for Chapter 2, which means putting it in theaters, but also releasing it on VOD or on a streaming platform. But yeah, because the theatrical performance of Chapter 1 did not do so well, it's tough.
I also find it's just like, the people who would watch this, 50 and plus, they just haven't had an opportunity to catch it. So like, I just want to leave it out there longer so then they could watch it. So, and it's going to garner more excitement for 2. I'm just like, I don't think that's going to work, bro. Nobody's watching this damn thing. Like, what are you talking about?
I actually think that the industry is getting to a place where they're no longer coddling Hollywood talent, if that makes sense. I think they're no longer like entertaining, like, hey, we'll keep it, we'll keep this in the theater, or we'll like keep promoting this on our streamer and see if like, it builds an audience or audience finds it eventually. I think it's very much like, hey, that didn't work, so we're moving on. Like, I think that's happening with streaming. I think that's happening with theatrical stuff. And I have some thoughts on it, like, good and bad. But I think in regards to Kevin Costner, it's like, hey, it's a swing and a miss. It's a miss. Like we're not going to keep investing in this thing that clearly people don't want anymore, right?
I mean, it's also a thing. It's just like, yeah, Costner is a name, but is he like really a name? Like, who's he a name for?
He's a name for this audience. I mean, Yellowstone apparently is the biggest show on TV, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that this is going to translate, or it might confuse the audience because, you know, he had that fallout with like Tyler Sheridan and stuff like that in Paramount. And in the GQ article, the interview I'm reading, which he had to set up, like he's doing all the he did all the promo for chapter 1, right?
Mm.
I swear, Justin, right after his interview, and this is after he's like talked about, hey, me and Yellowstone had a falling out. Like, I wish they worked with me more, blah, blah, blah. He's notoriously difficult. Right after that is an ad for Yellowstone. It's like, they do, they're such trolls.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck. But I mean, the part 1 is 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like considering going to a part 1 and I see that shit's already 3 hours, I'm gonna be like, nigga.
I watch that at home when I could take multiple bathroom breaks during this.
Yeah.
Like you got to watch that. You got to eat a meal, watch that movie, and then by the time you come out, you hungry again. like no.
Yeah, like you have to know like what you're getting into and it has to have more than Kevin Costner. Like when I saw Killers of the Flower Moon and knew that was going to be like 3.5 hours plus, I'm like, okay, we're going to go to Alamo, we're going to have lunch, like we're going to get all the food and shit, and we're just going to. We know it's a one and done thing. Versus this, I'm like, that chapter 2, and he wants to do chapter 3 and 4, so there's like 3 more after this. I'm like, nah, I'm good. This ain't Lord of the Rings, nigga. So yeah, Horizon American Saga Chapter 2. We'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, see you on the horizon, which is never ending.
Jesus. One thing that has been on the horizon for a long time, but it's finally been set with its all-star cast is Euphoria Season 3. They finally set a filming date of January 2025 with the entire main cast returning, including Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, and Hunter Schafer, which is crazy because, I mean, this show on The Bear, I'm like, I don't know how y'all gonna get another season because these stars are so big now. But the fact that the star, I mean, it's a holding, right? Like the studio's like, hey, we have first priority on anything you try to do. So, yeah, the fact that they locked that down is pretty interesting. I keep forgetting that one kid who played Fez died.
Yeah, overdose.
That sucks. He was so good on that show too.
Yeah, I mean, his breakout role. I mean, but guys, stay off the drugs.
Yeah. R.I.P. Angus Cloud. Yeah. Yeah, fucking drugs, man. That's why I just do edibles.
Taking down a lot of people, man. It's an undefeated champion.
Yeah. And then we'll close on this one because I feel like this is going to upset you a little bit. Zoe Kravitz and Austin Butler are joining a new crime thriller that's going to be directed by Darren Aronofsky called Caught Stealing. Apparently, the film is about Hank Thompson, a burned-out former baseball player, as he's unwillingly plunged into a wild fight for survival in the downtown criminal underworld of 90s New York, which is a really interesting concept. But I think it's a smart move for Austin Butler. Let me work with the director who got my competition for Oscar, that year, Brendan Fraser, his Oscar. And see what happens.
I don't know why that would upset me though.
What do you mean?
Why'd you say why would you say this would upset me?
Oh no, I said the last story we're going to talk about is going to upset you.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. I was just like, there's nothing about this that would upset me. Okay.
You're like, except for Zoe Kravitz getting with another white man.
For years.
Yeah, she has. Yeah. But yeah, Aronofsky, Darren Aronofsky is definitely a director that is batshit crazy, but actors love working with him because they usually get nominated for something.
Yeah. I mean,
like he's one of those few directors like Sam Mendes, Fincher. There's a few directors that like if you work with them, like if you give 110%, you're probably going to. It's going to help you out in some capacity, even if the movie's fucking nuts.
Which is great. Which is great. To Well, as a director, you're always going to get the best actors if you have that kind of vibe around you, where people's just like, hey, this guy is, the Oscar maker. So it's just like, yeah, of course, everybody wants to work with him. I mean, this it's awesome to have that kind of aura to
Yeah.
you.
So, the Hollywood Reporter recently released a list of the best movie sequels of the past 20 years. Some notable films there are Fast Five, which I think, obviously reinvented the whole franchise. It was so fucking
Mhm.
good. Captain America Winter Soldier, John Wick Chapter 4, which I was very happy to see on that list.
Mhm.
Logan, Mission Impossible Fallout, which for me, I actually still go back and watch that bathroom fight scene with Henry Cavill. I'm like, that's a
Yeah,
really fucking good action scene.
when he
Um,
rolls up his sleeves and we all go, Henry.
Spider-Man 2 from 2004, not the Amazing Spider-Man 2, not to be confused with that. Um, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is the one with Koba, great,
Mhm.
great. Avatar: The Way of Water, which I was kind of like, really, nigga? But I get it because that was a movie where James Cameron was literally like, yeah, this has to be like the third or second best, like, highest grossing film of all time in order for me to even break even. And he did it. Like, that's so insane.
Yeah,
Even though I thought the movie was just fine,
I
but
haven't watched.
yeah, it's very like okay. I was pleasantly surprised to see Doctor Sleep on this list. We reviewed it on the show, and I actually did
Yeah,
think it's a worthy predecessor to The Shining. I thought it was actually really good.
yeah.
And Mike Flanagan, he's the one who's going to be doing the next Exorcist movie, so hopefully he can bring that franchise back to its former
Promise.
glory. Probably not, but because that first one's a classic. You can't really replicate that one.
Hmm.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I was very, very happy to see, highly placed on the list. Creed came in number 3, which is a fantastic requel, so to speak. I thought, what were you saying, Justin?
I get reboot sequel. Yeah,
Yeah, fantastic. I remember like even like because I'm a Rocky fan to an extent, but the last ones, I mean, come on, but Rocky Balboa wasn't terrible.
no, no, well, it
Well,
wasn't. I
Rocky
mean, it was.
Five was fucking nuts, and you're just kind of like, okay, like let's see what's going on here. I love Fruitvale Station, so let me see what Mr. Kugler and Michael B. Jordan have cooked up here. And just the opening scene at the juvenile detention center where Felicia Rashad's like, "You want to come live with me? I knew your daddy." He's like, what was his name? And then it smashes to black and says Creed, and I was like, oh shit. That's before we even got to Eddie fighting Sylvester Stallone, anything. I was like, oh shit.
Tati's gonna leave me for this man.
Well, that was a boy.
No, I'm saying Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, when he eventually showed up, yeah. I was like, fuck this nigga. Even though he's talented. Dark Knight, of course, is number 2 on the list, which is, I mean, that sequel changed so much, man, in the industry in regards to the approach for comic book movies, in regards to how people portrayed their villains. It influenced so fucking much. So to see it number 2 on the list was great. Mad Max Fury Road is actually number 1 on this list, which was really interesting. Given I just listened to a podcast about how much Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy hated each other on the making of that
Yeah,
film.
because he was very method.
Yeah,
Was asking for that one.
to the point where apparently he started softening right at the point in the story because they didn't really have a script; they had storyboards. In the story where Max and Furiosa have to start working together, that's when he started softening and actually being cool. So he really went full fucking method. Like he's crazy.
Yep, out of his damn mind.
And he always does a different voice. He's a crazy nigga. He's out of his mind.
I mean, but you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
No, because it's you. If you know, it's usually men who do this whole method acting thing that like I'm gonna make everyone around me miserable so I can do this for the art, not caring about how it impacts other people's art. And then like it's not like he got nominated for an Oscar for this shit. Like he just acted like an asshole in the desert. Like nigga, we all suffering right now.
It's hot. I can't eat.
And speaking of suffering, depending on which way you fall on the side of this last piece of movie news, a Martin prequel drama series is in the works with Martin Lawrence, Bob Yari, and Wonder Hill Studios behind the production. It's expected to be an hour-long series called Young Martin that centers on Martin Payne, a charismatic teenager navigating the complexities of transitioning from youth to adulthood. It reimagines the character played by Martin Lawrence on Martin, paying homage to the original show, which aired on Fox from 1992 to 1997. It's trying to be Bel Air. It's trying to be Bel Air, but the problem with Bel Air is that that's a reimagining of a show about teenagers in the time that the show took place. This is trying to do a show before the show, which,
but it's modern day.
Yeah, this isn't Young Sheldon. I don't know how this is going to work. This is going to be really weird. Again, it's set in modern day Detroit. I don't know. I don't think you could do Martin Payne as a drama. At least Martin Lawrence is fucking crazy in that role. You can't, unless they're saying he had a mental breakdown and that's what led to Martin.
None of it makes any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, if you want to do something, reboot the fucking show. And exactly. And nobody wants that. Yeah. So if that's the case, leave it alone. Or if you're gonna do a Martin show and you want to do a prequel, then it has to take place in like the 70s and 80s. But like, this doesn't make it. Like, I was reading this and I was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are just excited for it because they're like, hey, I love Martin, and this is going to be an opportunity for me to see this character that I love, and he's going to come back. It's like, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how how it comes to fruition. I mean, I'm not going to turn down a writing opportunity if I can get in that room, but you know, it's very odd. I'm curious to see how this is going to come, how this is going to form over time. But let's talk about some movie trailers and TV trailers as well, because there was one TV show in here. So first up is Trapped, the new trailer for the Josh Hartnett M. Night Shyamalan collaboration. Gives us a little bit more insight about the intensity for, you know, how this is going to work, which is basically about this guy who's apparently a serial killer who was taking his daughter to like a Taylor Swift-esque show, and it turns out that the concert's actually a trap to get the serial killer. I gotta tell you though, the opening of this had this really creepy like scream sound. Tati had no context about what that sound was. She thought the world was ending. Like, she actually had a panic attack. She freaked out for a second. I was like, yeah, I mean, that is a scary sound, and if you don't know where it's coming from, like, yeah, I could see why you freaked out. But yeah, I mean, this trailer has me hyped for the movie. I'm just worried that he's not going to stick the landing.
Fair. I mean, yeah, the trailer looks great. It really does. Like, I just like. Well, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because, like, I'm also, you know, this has also made me very, especially the trailers, how they've released them. You know, with the information they've given you, like, it has me very inquisitive as to what's going on here and how is this guy going to get out of this situation. But at the same time, I could see how this could easily fall apart.
Yeah.
Because also, you have to realize they're at a stadium and there's all these people, and all these people have cell phones, hundreds of thousands of people. Well, I mean, you know, tens of thousands of people, they have cell phones. And in a stadium like so, an arena, they there's cameras everywhere, literally everywhere. How's he going to be able to? I don't know. This is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, well, we'll see how it pans out. I mean, we'll definitely be reviewing it for the show, folks. Another movie that I think we're going to be reviewing for the show, which I did not have on the list, is 1992, which is a movie that starred Tyrese Gibson and Ray Liotta in what seems to be his last film appearance, where Ray Liotta leads a group of robbers who are trying to steal some silver or some shit or platinum.
No, catalytic converters. Yeah.
Oh, okay. From a place that Tyrese Gibson is the security of during the Rodney King riots in L.A. Or is it Detroit? I couldn't tell. I thought someone said Detroit, and then another person said L.A., and I was like, where is this taking place?
I think this is L.A.
Yeah, right. And just, it felt like the whole trailer was like interesting, but it felt like this could be a lot better if you got someone else besides Tyrese Gibson in this lead role.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we'll wait and see, though, because it does look completely insane. And also Scott Eastwood's in it, and you're just like, they keep giving this nigga roles. That's a Nepo baby.
Mm-hmm.
That is a Nepo baby through and through.
Well, and that's the thing. It's just like I feel like the nepo baby thing. And people need to realize you're a nepo baby if you have these, if you're given these opportunities and you're not good. If you're talented, it
Yeah.
is what it is. It's like that's just how you got in, but your talent is keeping you there. But if you keep on getting roles and you're terrible, that's when you're a complete and utter nepo baby. Everybody else, if they're talented, leave them alone.
Next one is Afraid, which is a movie about a family that's terrorized by their home AI, starring John Chu. That just looks really weird and freaky. And the little kid, didn't it seem like the little kid when the AI is like, "Do you want to see what I look like?" Like I was like, I can't tell if he's terrified or like aroused. I don't like it. Either way, I don't like it. I did not like that. Um, not one bit. Sam, I am. So I'm on the fence about that one because it feels very much in the vein of like Megan and stuff like that, but it's even I believe by the same producers. But yeah, I just was like, I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. The other thing that similar that I'm like kind of like, we'll see about that is Agatha All Along, which is the new upcoming Disney Plus Marvel series starring Catherine Hahn in the titular role. I guess this is basically her stuck in whatever void that the Scarlet Witch put her in at the end of WandaVision. Um,
Stuck in a TV show.
yeah, Aubrey Plaza's in it though, and she looks kind of hot as like an evil witch.
Yeah,
Um,
one of my castmates from UCB, Shasir Zameta's in this one as well.
oh yeah, SNL alum and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm just kind of like, we'll see what happens with this because I don't know how it fits into the whole MCU canon. Uh, a lot of the stuff's just starting to feel like homework too. If I'm being honest, like we're almost done with Loki season 2, and I'm like, this is all feeling like homework versus entertainment and like being engaging.
It's funny though, because Loki season 2, I feel like you said you're almost done with it,
Yeah, we
right?
have one more episode.
Okay, like I feel like it started off pretty well and then just started tapering.
A little bit, I can see that. I think that I think they probably got put in a hard place with the whole Jonathan Major stuff,
Yeah,
and it seems like, which is interesting. Like, I guess we can talk about it like after I'm done finishing it, or when we eventually talk about like Deadpool and Wolverine, how that what implications that leads for the MCU. But yeah, it seems like they kind of have an out with the Kang stuff,
yep.
which is really weird that you just like had this dude pop up. Anyways, but yeah, we'll see how Agatha contributes to the MCU. Again, I think it's just I don't know how many people actually watched WandaVision, given how many people didn't know who Monica Rambeau was in the Marvels.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. Um, as we talked about earlier, the Gladiator 2 trailer released, and it's been downvoted because of one, I think obviously racism with the use of Jay-Z and Kanye's "No Church in the Wild" song in the trailer, as well as Denzel, which is just so fucking stupid. Because one, you're gonna go see this fucking movie because it's got fucking hippo rhinos fighting. You got the actual aqueducts battles in the Coliseum. Like niggas gonna go see this movie. Like it's an incredible cast and it's fighting. You're gonna
Yeah.
go see this shit. And it's got Denzel. Yes, Denzel's talking in his in his regular accent. He's not doing any British role like anything, which is fine because they didn't have specific accents back then anyway, right?
Well, it's also the fact it's just like, yeah, like this black guy in Rome, da da da. It's like, are you acting like niggas didn't exist back then?
Yeah, like they didn't have Africans out there. Okay, sure.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I don't know if it'll be like fantastic or anything because really Scott's been out of his fucking mind the past 10 plus years. But his films have been entertaining. Even I would say Napoleon is the least entertaining out of all the films he's done in recent memory. But Evan, just like if you even followed his filmography, Napoleon, no one taught him French accents, and then they made up battles. Like this isn't going to be historically accurate. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. So. Gladiator 2 has definitely got all my money.
We're just having fun.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag black actors. Speaking of black actors, the Supreme at Earl's All You Can Eat stars Academy Award nominee Anjanou Ellis, as well as Sanaa Lathan.
There you go.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
And Uza from Orange is the New Black. I definitely am excited to see this just because there's so few films that like provide like lead roles for black actresses like this, and so I'm really excited to see this movie, and I'm hoping that it resonates with audiences. It's going to be premiering on Hulu though, so it doesn't get like a theatrical release, but it'll be on Hulu on August 23rd. Also, it has the favorite eyebrows in the game, Tatiana. We gotta get her actual name. Just
our favorite eyebrows in the game.
It's true though. Playing the young version, Tatiana Gabriel, who plays the young version of Sanaa Lathan's character. She's the younger version of that character. So once I saw her, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this. I'm watching this. Mm-hmm. 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 Another movie with an attractive cast where I'm like, I'm going to watch this too, even though this isn't usually my cup of tea anymore, which is the movie We Live in Time, which stars Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh as a couple where clearly they fall in love, but they also have to deal with some illness, it seems like, on Florence Pugh's end. And I was just watching the trailer, and on the side, Tati's like, damn, they're attractive. Those are some attractive white people. Because she's usually like, the whites are, they don't age great. And she was like, that's an attractive couple. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's a good looking dude.
Yeah, you know who I'm paying attention to.
Yeah, that's the only reason why like a lot of people didn't fuck with this Peter Parker as well, because they're like, he's too good looking. Like,
which, yeah.
Look at this gorgeous man.
You think this guy would be unpopular in high school?
You don't think he getting pussy? You don't think he getting dances at homecoming? Come on now.
Like MJ isn't like, dropping some levels down, fucking with Peter Parker, right?
Yeah. We got two more trailers to talk about. The next one is F1, which is the Brad Pitt Formula One racing film that like doesn't really give us anything about the plot, but it is directed by the dude who did Top Gun Maverick, and you could tell that because I don't know if it's CGI, but Brad Pitt looked like he really racing that car.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The way they did that angle, I was like, oh, so we're going to be in this car with niggas.
Well, we also have Damson Idris in this.
Yes.
Which, I'm a fan of. Snowfall.
Yep. So it looks interesting. I mean, I'm definitely going to try to see this in IMAX because it seems like that's the right venue to see this in.
Well, isn't this coming out on Apple TV?
No, it's going to be released theatrically, though.
Oh, okay.
Apple's one of the few streamers that actually does theatrical releases and then puts it on their platform like 2 months later or something like that. Okay. Yeah, because they put a lot of money into this budget, which you can tell just by the way it looks. Like,
yeah.
I mean, holy shit! And also, they use Queen in the trailer, right? So, and that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Apparently, Queen and Michael Jackson are like the most expensive artists to use in like anything, like commercials, marketing, anything like that.
I could see Michael Jackson for sure, but Queen, yeah, that would make sense too.
Yeah, just because it's used so much in like things to get you amped up and everything like that. I'm sure like they're just printing money over that estate. Everything. But last but not least, Captain America: Brave New World trailer released. I really hope this is good, even though it opens with Elijah, the previous Captain America. Well, he was the super soldier.
Yes.
Black dude.
AKA Brandon's papa. Go on.
He doesn't look like my papa. The actor's great though. I'm trying to remember his name. He should have been nominated. Carl Lumbly, he plays Isaiah Bradley. He should have been nominated for Emmy from his role in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought he was fantastic. But it opens with him trying to kill the recasted Thunderbolt Ross, played now by Harrison Ford, who is now the president. And so, obviously, over this past weekend, there's some tragic events in this country where presidential nominee, former president, was almost assassinated. And I'm like, oh, they might have to do even more reshoots now.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's tough.
This in February. I mean, it's possible.
It's possible. But nonetheless, it seems like there's some governmental conspiracies, clearly some kind of Manchurian candidate shit going on. It's going back into the vein of like Captain America, Winter Soldier, which I think is smart move. I think that it was the first time I saw a Marvel movie where it didn't quite feel like a Marvel movie. Obviously, outside of like some of the action sequences and seeing the Red Hulk for a second, I'm like, oh, this could actually be something different, which would be cool. And I haven't said that in a while about a Marvel movie.
Well, I mean, but like you said, with all the reshoots done for this, it just seems it seems like they're starting to get their shit together. I mean, but again, this is just a trailer. We don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case.
Yeah, I do want this to be a win though, because the director is Julius Onah. He did Loose, and it's like a heavily diverse cast. I want this to do well. Liv Tyler's going to be in this, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Coming back as Thunderbolt Ross's daughter, which will be nice. So we'll see what happens with this, but I definitely am more excited than I usually would be. And obviously, Giancarlo Esposito, and a role that he says has not yet been, figured out by the interwebs. He's like, people have not correctly guessed who I'm playing.
So it seems to me that like he's probably playing a character who's it's almost like like a a black ops government agency, working for the president or against or something like that. Because like I don't know, just from what I'm seeing, in the trailer and everything like that. Like, but that's my guess. That's my guess. It's like some sort of black ops, but I imagine there is a character who he's portraying. Yeah. But like I'm thinking like, not Hydra, but like kind of like the Hydra guys from the Captain America Winter Soldier movie.
Could he be playing Bishop?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was just curious
because if he's, but I think there is a character they used to work with Bishop.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely interested though in seeing what comes of his role and whether it leads to more appearances in the MCU or if this is a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah,
it would have been nice to see him as a hero though, but we also don't know his character's motivation or what they're doing in the story. So he could be a hero for all we know. But folks, that's our movie news and trailer reactions. As always, feel free to follow the show on all social media platforms and Medium P Podcast. And you can follow me at Frodo_Blackens. Come check out my one-man show, Air Seinfelds, on Friday, August 23rd at the Soho Playhouse in New York City. You can get tickets for that at FrodoBlackens.com. And just how can people follow you as well, support the show financially if they choose to do so.
Guys, you can follow me at JBrownDidIt on all social media platforms. And, of course, you can support this show at Patreon, patreon.com/mediumpopcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog is right. It goes right to Patreon. We also, sorry, Brandon, I flubbed. We have bonus shows. We have mini shows on Patreon. So if you love this show, Patreon is where you need to be. And again, that's patreon.com/mediumpopcorn.
That's right, folks. Just read about Timothée Chalamet starring and producing a movie called Marty Supreme, which is going to be what on the Safdie brothers for A24 about a ping pong player. Hollywood's weird. All right, folks. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Medium popcorn, we are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn, woo! You haven't seen it, well we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault.